week. The Thursday night games have left a lot to be desired so far this season, but there is a good Thursday night football game this week. You got the Cincinnati Bengals on the road in Baltimore. Both teams coming off really tough losses. Cincinnati blew a lead against the Texans. The Ravens blew a lead against the Browns. But we'll get into it all, guys. I now want to bring in our Eagles insider, Dave Spadaro, joining the show like he does every Tuesday. What's up, Dave?
Bill, good morning. You know, you're so excited, and it reminds me of the great Rich Kotite, which is before your time, I know.
I remember Kotite.
And anybody who's in the chat or watching would remember that one of his famous lines was, "Don't leave your game in the locker room." So, Bill, you got to just kind of chill out.
I can't
appreciate every day that you have here. Monday night will get here in due time. Don't be in a rush through life, Bill, is my point. Make sure that you are ready when the ball is kicked off to be at your very best.
That is very true. Take a moment and take in all the scenery. Take some time to smell the roses, as they say. Yeah. Right? Well, how was your bye week, Dave? Did you get a little break?
Lovely. Wife and puppy dog just went down to the shore for a few days and chilled out. It's a little family vacation.
What's your shore town? Where do you go when you go to the shore?
When my kids were young, it was Strathmere and Ocean City. Since then, it's been, here and there. Really, wife's not super into the shore, and the shore to me, like, it's great and everything, but I live in the city, and when everybody in the summer is out of the city, it's great. And so, like, I'm a big, like, get on my bike and go guy, get a workout in guy, play tennis guy. I'm not really like a sit on the beach guy. The bald head, it's just not. This is not a good place to be in the sun. You know what I'm saying?
You can't see it, man, but I got it up here too, brother. I got it up here too. Doctor's like, you got to wear a hat on the beach. Got to wear a hat on the beach.
Every day you should wear a hat.
I like going to the beach, but I used to live in Fairmount, and you're right. In the summertime, when everybody clears out, it's nice. The city's empty, man. It's great. Right. And real quick, before we get into the Eagles, you said that you like to play some tennis. You know what me and my girl picked up now is we're pickleball players now, Dave.
You're on the pickleball, huh?
I was against it. She's a big tennis player, so she was kind of against it too. She was respecting tennis, but we're into it.
I like it all. It's all good stuff, man. As my man in the Eagles athletic training room says, Monty Wong, who's a great trainer, part of an amazing staff here. And unfortunately, I've had to go in there many times when I've been hurt. His line is motion is lotion. And anything you can do to move around is good for the body. Good for the body.
I love it. I love it.
Pickleball's fun.
Before we get into the Eagles, Dave, did you watch that Monday Night Football game last night?
I sure did. I watched it the same way I'm sure that every Eagles fan watched it, okay? I know that everybody's painting this, like, murderer's row of games that the Eagles have, and it is tough, right? But the Buffalo Bills have been playing very poorly. And when you watch them, and I was trying to figure out why, because I started to kind of do a little bit of advanced stuff on Buffalo because next week is such a short week for us. And when you watch, you're like, okay, they rank really well in numbers, in categories, but they turn the ball over. They don't get stops. They do things like this is why Nick Sirianni, when he talks about situational football, end of the game, leave your dime team on the field. Like, you don't have to bring your field goal block team in, like, or do it right. And they just make those kinds of mistakes. And that is so illustrative of what separates wins and losses in the NFL. 4 turnovers. Their best drive is when they ran the ball down the field on every play, and they kind of took the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. The defense really pressed into service. They've lost 3 key players, one at each level of the defense throughout the season. I got to tell you, late in the game when DeMar Hamlin was on the field, I kind of got a little bit really into it and hoping that he would make a big play to kind of win it for the Bills, because I've got friends over there. But a tough loss for a team that is going to be, after they play the Jets, which is a divisional game, and that'll be a physical game. I just feel like by the time they get to Philly, they're going to be exhausted, and then they have their bye week. So, given the fact that the Eagles have a very tough stretch, I kind of look at other teams and really, really kind of scout them a little bit as a fan.
Yeah, let's hope you're right and that the Buffalo Bills come in here kind of exhausted and the Eagles can win that game. But Josh
I mean,
Allen,
Eagles can
man,
win the game. Again, listen, the Eagles can beat any team in the league. But there's no doubt that, look, that Sunday is going to be really tough coming back from a late Kansas City game, an emotional Kansas City game. This is why, Bill, as you are hyping up this Monday night game, understandably so, you are hyping up, understandably so, the Dallas Cowboys game. Every single game. And then the San Francisco 49ers game will be beyond hype. And that's why Nick is really good and his team is really good at just focusing on this game and treating every single game the same. You have to.
yeah, and you're right. And then after the San Francisco game, there's the Cowboys game. So there is a lot of big games coming up. But I said it yesterday on my show as well that, we were referring to this 6-game stretch here as the Gauntlet. And I no longer want to refer to it as that because really this is a gauntlet for the teams who have to play the Eagles, not the other way around. This team has been so damn good in the regular season. All they do is win. But talking about all we do is win, Andy Reid usually wins after bye weeks. And I just did a video on my Instagram page because I was trying to get to figure out, well, how good is Andy really after bye weeks? And he's been a coach now for 25 years. In 24 seasons, in the regular season, he is 21-3 after byes. So he really is that damn good. He won 13 straight in Philadelphia to start his career. You kind of saw it firsthand. What makes Andy so good following a bye week?
So, first of all, you get the players out, which is what the Eagles did last week. They came in Monday after the win against the Cowboys, and then they were out. So it's really important to get the players rested mentally and physically, get them back fresh. And then there's a period of self-scouting that is vital. And I don't know what other teams do out there. I know that Andy here, Nick here, they take that self-scouting really, really important. They take it very seriously. And then you make adjustments. And this is a game of adjustments. And so I'm sure that Andy Reid has looked at the Kansas City Chiefs in their very fine start to the season and gone, all right, this is working well, but the offense is too centered on Travis Kelce or whatever. What can we do to get this offense kind of going again? I think that Andy's really just good at that kind of stuff, at finding weaknesses and turning them into non-weaknesses. And that's what, again, makes it so difficult coming out of the bye when you really, the Eagles have seen all of this from Kansas City. They'll be prepared. It'll be, very much focused on what Mahomes can do, which is everything, and Kelce, what he can do is everything. But you know that Andy's going to show something that he has not shown before. And he's going to attack a part of the Eagles that he has studied vigorously and deemed a favorable matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Eagles will have to counter that. And that is the essence of coaching. That is the essence of winning in this league. It's the move, the counter move. It's that game within the game kind of thing where you adapt. And I think Andy's really good at it.
Yeah, he's really good at it. And I'm hoping this is an omen. Not sure if this means anything, Dave, but maybe it's an omen. The last time Andy Reid lost after a regular season bye was a Week 11 game, November 19th, against an NFC East opponent. This game, Week 11, November 20th, against an NFC East opponent. Maybe it's an omen. We will see, but it was 6
Bill,
years ago.
It's absolutely an omen. I'm the most superstitious guy. I'll take any omen that you can throw at me. So bring it on. I just know it's going to be a great game, really great test. I don't think that anybody here is like, oh my gosh, we got to get them back after losing the Super Bowl. Like, you can't bring back that game. This is a regular season game, no matter how you slice it. But it's a very important regular season game. So I think really the focus is not on Super Bowl rematch, even though everybody's going to hype it that way. It's on let's win a really important game because the Eagles are in a race not only for the NFC East, but for the entire conference top seed. And really, there's such little wiggle room that every game is vital, vital, vital.
When's Nick's first press conference this week?
I think it's Thursday.
Yeah, because
I know the media is Thursday. I'm not sure if he's having one tomorrow. I think it's Thursday, though.
because I'm interested to hear what he says, because you just talked about it. You know this game's going to be hyped by everybody. I mean, I said
Already
it to
is. There
start
were a
the
ton of ads
show.
last night. I mean,
Yeah.
all they kept doing it in the broadcast was talking about next Monday night, next Monday night, next Monday night.
So I'm curious, as the head coach, Nick Sirianni, how much do you talk about Super Bowl 57? Because you're right, this is a huge regular season game. But do you use Super Bowl 57 at all to try to fuel your team? This is a way to get back at them, or do you stick to what it is, regular season game, big game for 2023?
Yeah, no, I think you look at it like it's a big game, and you certainly study what their defense did against you, what the blocking scheme offensively was against you. You certainly look at how the Chiefs played you, and I'm sure that that will not be the most pleasant film review for the coaching staff. But I think in addition to that, you're also looking at every single game they've played this season. You're studying new players, any new wrinkles, but you're not using it as an emotional lever. I don't think there's any need for that. This is not in the players' minds. Again, you're not going to reverse what happened on February 12th, unfortunately. But on November 20th, it's a huge game that the Eagles would love to win, would position themselves so incredibly well with a win on Monday night for the rest of the regular season. So yeah, I don't think you sell it as like, hey, Super Bowl rematch, guys. They got us last time. We got to get them back this time.
Yeah, I agree with you. And you talk about it being two different teams. We know some of the changes that the Eagles have gone through, but this is a different Chiefs team. I went and looked at the numbers and I couldn't believe it. They're almost worse on every offensive category and better in every defensive category. This defense for the Chiefs is a really good defense this season.
Yeah, they've really done well. And McDuffie's a top tier cornerback. They've gotten good play up front. Spagnolo, Spagnolo's had some ups. Spags is my guy. I love the guy. He's had some up and down years as a defensive coordinator. But when his front four is generating a lot of pressure, which this group does, he is excellent because he can do so many things on the back end. And always remember that he's a Jim Johnson disciple. It's all predicated on pressure packages and the illusion of pressure packages. So when you have a good defensive backfield that has made plays, which the Chiefs have done, ultimately defense really wins. So I think it's going to be extremely interesting to see how it all transpires. We saw Jalen Hurts in that matchup against the Chiefs have a huge game, really could do whatever he wanted up and down the field. A couple of fails when they had opportunities to score touchdowns, and that ultimately came back to haunt the Eagles. The fumble that was returned for a touchdown haunted the Eagles. But I'm so curious to see what adjustments Spags makes against the Eagles and how the Eagles offense with a new coordinator, how he looks at this matchup versus how Shane Steichen looked at it in February.
Yeah, and one of the things that we weren't able to do in that Super Bowl was get after Mahomes. And I think that's going to be a big factor on Monday night is can they put pressure on Mahomes? But what this offense did well last year for Kansas City is they protected Mahomes, that offensive line, and he's so shifty in the pocket. It's hard to bring Mahomes down, and they're doing it again this year. They've only given up 12 sacks so far this season, but they get after the quarterback on defense. A lot of people forget last year, Eagles were number 1 in the league in sacks in the regular season. The Chiefs were number 2, and they're on pace for actually more sacks this season. They already have 31 sacks to start this year. What do you think breaks here? Who gets more pressure on the quarterback, the Chiefs on Hurts or the Eagles on Mahomes?
I mean, I certainly hope the Eagles on Mahomes. The challenge when you rush Mahomes is that unless you are incredibly disciplined, you've got to be disciplined because he's got the elusiveness. And look, they have a very good blocking scheme. They have a good offensive line, but they also have a quarterback who, as you say, is shifty in the pocket and out of the pocket and picks up, as we saw in the Super Bowl, big yards with his legs at opportune times. So, I mean, I certainly think the Eagles will get it going. I really love the Eagles' offensive line against anybody, but it's going to be an interesting matchup. Like, how much do you want to? I mean, I know fans love to see blitzing, and maybe you can try to blitz a little bit more, feeling that you've got a better matchup outside with Slay and Bradbury against wide receivers who really haven't been that super productive. But then you're also daring Mahomes to beat you with precision passing, with timing throws, and he can certainly do that. So it's a chicken or the egg kind of thing. I mean, I want to see the Eagles throw the football clearly, but also control the line of scrimmage and have time-consuming drives and do what they've been doing lately in the red zone. They've been excellent in the red zone. They're up to, I think, 12th in the league in touchdown efficiency in the red zone. The defense had a couple of big stops against Dallas. Hopefully that continues. I mean, that's what this game is going to come down to. One stop here, one mistake there. I think the Eagles are much better, honestly, Bill, than they were in the Super Bowl on special teams. I think that's a factor in this game. I don't know what the weather forecast is for Monday night at Giha. I think it's called Giha Field at Arrowhead Stadium. So, but I mean, certainly you've got to put pressure on Mahomes. You can't let him run around all day in the backfield.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier Travis Kelce. We knew going into the Super Bowl, don't let Kelce beat you. Don't let Kelce beat you. But Eagles struggled a little bit with Travis Kelce, as everyone has in the NFL. He's just that damn good. What do you expect him to do on Monday night to try to slow down Travis?
Pay him a lot of attention. Try to jam him at the line of scrimmage. These are all options. Bracket cover him. Understand that he's going to get some. I mean, do you go into the game saying I'm not going to let Travis Kelce beat me, and then you're going to take chances on the outside? You're going to let their running backs that are very good catch and run running backs, tough matchup, because Mahomes is able to see that and adjust, and just all Mahomes does is keep the chains moving, keep the chains moving, keep the chains moving. So, yeah, I mean, I don't have the answer. I mean, it's Tuesday. I know that's what they're working on now, but I certainly would pay a lot of attention to Travis Kelce. And the Eagles have done a decent job, I think, much of the year against tight ends. But this is a different kind of matchup because so much of their offense runs through Kelce. And their offense has been, as you said, down this year, largely because Kelce's been good and then taken out of it a little bit and then good. And if it's not been Travis, they're having trouble consistently finding production from other players. But I'm certainly, if I'm Sean Desai, I am paying so much attention to Travis Kelce.
Yeah, you have to. He's just that good. And then speaking of paying attention to Travis Kelce, I'm just hoping Taylor Swift's not in the house. I can't see any more of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. Did you see there was a story that came out today?
Yes, of course.
Jason Kelce was referred to as Taylor Swift's boyfriend's brother.
Yeah. I think she's in Europe, man. I mean, that's why Travis went over there on the bye week and she ran into his arms and dedicated her song to him. I mean,
yeah,
this is love, baby. But I think she's going to be on the other side of the pond for this one on Monday night.
Yeah, and I'm happy for Travis. I just don't need to see it anymore. That's all.
I mean, maybe they'll pipe in Taylor watching the game like from wherever she's going to be.
Yeah. Well, she grew up near Philly, man. I thought she was an Eagles fan. But
hey, love conquers all. We've all been on the other side of that, right, Bill?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. So let me ask you too. Moving away from the Eagles for a second, rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud and the job D'Amico Ryans is doing in Houston. How impressed are you about what you're seeing from those two?
Yeah, a ton. I mean, he is poised. He's gets the ball where it has to be. He gets it out quickly, which a lot of young quarterbacks have trouble with. The numbers are record-setting. It does make you wonder about this pre-combine narrative about the intelligence test or whatever that test was that he didn't score well on. Football is football, and clearly he's got a high football IQ and has thrived. I mean, I figured that would be a really good place for him. And for D'Amico, they had a lot of pieces in place. And also, Bill, it speaks to this. When you have the quarterback, you have a chance. And we look at repeatedly, the Patriots don't have it. The Giants don't have it. I mean, up and down the line. I guess one of the exceptions would be the Chargers because Herbert is the real deal, but the rest of that team just can't hold a lead. So I'm a big fan of DeMeco's. I loved him when he was here. I'm happy for him. And they're making a real playoff run in the AFC.
Yeah, I think Chip Kelly called him what? Mufasa? Was that D'Amico's nickname when he was here?
Yes, it was. I always pause. I don't ever want to really give Chip Kelly any credit.
He did two good things. The Mufasa nickname I liked, and I think he brought in Jeff Stoutland, didn't he?
Yes, and he also brought in some sports science. And
the smoothie bar.
The smoothie bar is terrific. I hit the smoothie bar almost every day.
Yeah, so we got to give him some credit. But
and when I do tours of NovaCare, I always say that's the one good thing that Chip Kelly did. But you're right, Jeff Stoutland is a really good thing.
Yeah. All right, before I let you run, Dave, I know we only worry about ourselves, and Nick Sirianni doesn't want us to worry about anything else and only look at the game ahead. But I want your opinion. Who do you see as the biggest threat in the NFC to compete with the Eagles for that top seed and get the first round bye?
Yeah. Detroit. Schedule is pretty easy. I mean, look, the Vikings aren't going to be an easy out. They got a couple games against the Vikings. But that win against the Chargers was impressive. I was really rooting for the Chargers to win that game, but it didn't happen. So I think that will be the team, the Eagles' biggest competitor for the number one seed. I mean, look, it just amazes me that the Cowboys blow out the Giants, and all of a sudden, the media are generating the Cowboys are on the come thing, and here they are. It's just like, I love it, man. They win a game and everybody's on them. I think San Francisco had a big win. I watched that game against Jacksonville. Very impressive. We'll see how long they can sustain that. But I think because of the schedule, I would say the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I did a video earlier in the week about how the Lions' schedule was the easiest. However, as you take a step back right now, hey, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos maybe shouldn't be overlooked. You know, the Lions played Denver, and then the other two games they have that I thought were going to be easy a couple weeks ago were going to be the Vikings once Kirk Cousins went down. But you just said, hey, you have a quarterback, you have a chance. How about the job Josh Dobbs is doing in 2 games in Minnesota?
A lot of amazing stories in the NFL, Bill, this year, and that's Josh Dobbs is absolutely one of them. To go from Arizona, well, he's been on 3 teams this year, right? And now to have the success, understanding that it's really kind of playground football that he's playing, because he has very little practice time with anybody, doesn't really know the playbook. I mean, what he's doing is really impressive, remarkable, and good for Minnesota. They're making a really nice midseason run.
Yeah. But, hey, if the Eagles take care of their own business, we won't have to worry about any of these teams, right? Because we put ourselves in a good spot to start.
Control what you can control.
Well, Dave, I appreciate it, my brother. I'm going to try to enjoy the week, not get ahead of myself for Monday night, but it's tough. Well, give us a go Birds before you roll like you do every week. It's been a good omen.
Look, thanks to everybody for paying attention. Thanks for your support of the Philadelphia Eagles. And as always, go Birds!
There's our Eagles insider, Dave Spadaro. Appreciate him joining the show every single week, giving us that insider's perspective. But he's right. I got to try to enjoy this week, but it's tough, man. We already had the bye week. Now we got to get all the way to Monday night, but hopefully we can get there. But when we get back, I want to take a look. We talked a little bit with Dave about that Monday night football game last night between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. But I want to talk about that because after this week, Philadelphia Eagles play the Buffalo Bills. And this gauntlet that we were talking about before, I told you I don't want to talk about it as a gauntlet for the Eagles anymore. It's a gauntlet for the other teams. And you look at Josh Allen and the job he's done this season, and he doesn't have me scared. So hit that like button, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break.